This 14-year-old kid should be at summer camp right now working on his summer reading project, but instead he's in a jail cell fighting a murder charge. Now, he's fighting a murder charge because he did something that all of us would do without even thinking about it. This is Carlisha Hood, a single mother of two and a Chicago resident. Now, Carlisha Hood was a mother who took pride in providing for her kids. She did a lot of odd jobs and supplemental jobs such as taxes during tax season, for an extra set of income to provide for her two boys. Now, she took pride and could often be seen bragging on Facebook about raising two young men who were honor students, who never hopped in the streets, who weren't gangmakers, who were productive members of society. Which, let's be real here, that's an accomplishment. Raising two young black men in Southside Chicago and none of them turned out to be gang members? That's an accomplishment, bro. So Carlisha Hood and her 14-year-old son was in the mood for some hot dogs on June 22nd. So they hopped in their vehicle, they drove down to Southside Chicago at the Maxwell Street Express. Now they drove there in this mini SUV hybrid, something that you would expect a single mother to drive. Now Carlisha Hood, she hopped out and she went inside of the restaurant while her son stayed inside of the vehicle. Things at this point was going pretty routine. She went inside to order. She was contemplating on what she wanted to get. But then at some point, she got into an argument with Jeremy Brown.
Get your food! Who? Get in the car? Who?
As the argument progresses over something that's unknown, Jeremy Brown balls his hands up in a fist in a threatening manner as if he's about to unleash a fury of punches against this woman. What's more disappointing to me isn't really Jeremy Brown balling up his fist, because he's a coward. He's a punk. But it's every grown man in that building who sat there and watched Jeremy Brown ball his fist up against a woman and didn't do anything. As soon as Jeremy Brown would have balled his fist up and took a step towards her in a threatening manner, that right there is signal for every grown man in that building to step up and isolate Jeremy Brown away from Carlisha Hood. But that never happened. They sat there and watched the situation escalate further.
Nay. Get your food. Get your food. If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
So here we see Jeremy Brown continue his intimidation tactic and trying to get her to shut up or to try to intimidate her into submitting, but she wouldn't back down. But she obviously had a bad feeling about Jeremy Brown because in the very early stages of their argument, she was texting her son, yo, grab the gun and come into the restaurant. Something is up. So while the argument was progressing, her son was trying to find the gun, and then he grabbed the gun, put it into his sweatshirt, and then he walked into the entrance of the hot dog shop. Carlisha Hood 14-year-old son Nick walks in, and you see him just standing in the entrance watching his mom argue with Jeremy Brown.
I said one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
As this 14-year-old kid is watching a grown man pummel his mother to a pulp, he not only hear bystanders being complicit, but he also hear bystanders screaming, see, he told you, and blaming the victim for being assaulted. So Nick, like most sons who love their mothers, did what any one of us would have done. He reached into his pockets, pulled out his gun. This 14-year-old kid, Nick, who was an honor roll student, never shot a gun in his life, just shot a gun for the first time ever. So his adrenaline is rushing past a point of no return, and he just keeps on shooting. Now, Jeremy Brown tries to escape, but Nick just keeps on shooting. He's panicking. He just keeps on shooting. Bop, 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 bop. Like shots is flying everywhere. So eventually, Jeremy Brown makes his escape. However, he passed away. He died from his wounds. The surveillance camera outside of Maxwell Street Express tells an interesting story as to what happened after the shooting. Carlisha Hood could be seen here trying to take the gun away from her son because she has a registered firearm permit and she also has a concealed carry permit. So she was trying to take the gun away from her son and protect her son and maybe take the fall for the shooting. But her son right now is in straight defense mode trying to protect his mother, so he's not letting the gun go because he is dedicated right now to protecting his mother. I'm not sure if Nick's father is still in his life or who the strong male role models are, but I'm pretty confident and pretty sure that any strong role model or male role model in his life will be extremely proud of how this young man carried himself, will be extremely proud of how this young man protected his mother, And even at the end, he refused to give the gun back to his mom because he was only concerned with protecting his mom and being the man of the household right now. But this story isn't a fairy tale, and there's no fairy tale ending. I would love to say Nick protected his family, protected his mom, went home, and was a hero. But the Chicago police didn't see it as such. See, they picked up and arrested Nick and his mother the next day. Now, they arrested them both on one count of murder, but then Carlisha Hood got additional charges for delinquency of a minor. Chicago police justification for charging Carlisha Hood with delinquency of a minor is because she told her 14-year-old son to grab the gun and come inside because she felt uneasy. Now, Chicago police claim that while the argument was going on, that Carlisha Hood shouted out for her son to shoot, and that's why her son shot. Now, that's unclear from the actual surveillance footage that we've seen, so I'm not even going to speak on that part. But what I'm going to say is this. Regardless of not her telling her son to shoot while she's being attacked, that shouldn't even matter. Yo, she was in a life or death situation. A man who was clearly unhinged and off his rockers was attacking her in front of her 14-year-old son. Now, even if you want to charge Carlisha Hood for keeping a gun where her son could get it, for instructing her son to come in, cool. But why is a 14-year-old boy being charged with one count of murder? Why is his life about to be in ruins? Why is his life about to be in disarray for protecting his mother, for doing the right thing? It's sad. This 14-year-old kid was an honor roll student. He did everything right in life. And now his life is up in disarray. Now he could possibly lose his bright future and lose his life to a prison cell because one night him and his mother went out for some hot dogs and they encountered a man named Jeremy Brown who was up to no good. Two productive citizens of society is about to lose it all because they encounter a man who clearly had nothing to lose. A multi-felon. A man who rap sheet runs too long for us to name. A man who has had multiple stints in prison, up to 5 that we counted. A man who's been arrested 20 to 30 times. They encountered a man who was clearly unhinged and had nothing to live for. A man who was just a ticking time bomb, who had no business being in the streets. They encountered him. And now they're about to lose everything they ever worked for because they encounter a melanated malefactor who had no business being in the streets. This system rewards the criminals. That's why extreme gun control to me makes no sense. See, Carlisha Hood had a permit. She had a concealed carry permit, right? She had a permit ID. She was triple and quadruple qualified to have a gun with her to protect her. Without the gun, she would have probably been dead. And there's nothing a 14-year-old can do to overpower a 35-year-old man who's attacking his mother. Gun laws were created for people like Carlisha Hood, who could have protection when dealing with unhinged people like Jeremy Brown. This is another Travis Rudolph situation. Free Carlisha Hood and free Nick. This is a travesty. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, all right? It's your boy, Poetic Flacco. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.